And as you rest, notice your contact with the ground and the movements of your breath. Allow your head to roll a little to one side, back through the middle to the other side. Just see how that's going. And then please bend your knees, place the soles of your feet on your mat. And let's try that movement again of pressing through the feet, allowing yourself to lengthen up through your mat. And then pulling with your feet, allow yourself to come down so your bottom gets a bit closer, or your pelvis gets a bit closer to your heels. And then alternate. Just see how that movement's going. And then please interlace your hands and place them behind your head. And continue that movement, pressing the feet, going up, pulling with the feet, going down. And see, can you feel your head move in your hands? Just notice that. And now leave that and please roll over onto your belly. Take your time, rolling over onto your stomach. And could you have your arms long overhead and your legs apart, so you're making a big X on the ground. Your forehead's on your mat, or you can place a towel under your forehead. If this position is uncomfortable for you, you could fold your arms and have your head resting on the backs of your hands, or on a cushion, or on a towel. And begin now doing the seesaw breathing, expanding the chest, thickening the chest all around, sending the air down to the belly, expanding the belly. So you'll hold your breath, expand between the chest and the belly, up and down, slowly. And then when you need to, take another breath, let the breath out, take another breath. Don't wait till you're busting for the next breath. Please be gentle with yourself. As you do this movement, expanding the chest, expanding the belly, notice what part of your chest first touches the ground. Is it exactly in the middle, or a little to the right, or a little to the left? And the same with your belly. Is it the exact middle that first touches the ground, or a little to the left, or a little to the right? Just notice how it is for you. Where the chest first touches the ground, and where the belly first touches the ground. And now please let that go. Rest on your belly. If that's not comfortable, allow yourself to rest on your side or some other position. And if the belly position is not comfortable for you, please feel free to put a cushion or a towel under any part that needs it. So maybe for some people it's under the belly itself to support the low back. For some people under the chest, having a towel under the chest can really make a big difference. Come again to have your legs and arms in this X shape, or if that's not comfortable, fold your arms and have your forehead on the backs of your hands, or you can have your hands next to your head. You could place a towel under your forehead, whatever you need to do to be comfortable. Begin again doing the seesaw breathing, but now press the left side, deliberately feel the left side of your chest and press that to the ground, and then press the right side of your belly to the ground. So as if you could breathe into your left lung only, and then send the air down to the right side of your belly, your low belly. So now your whole back will move from the right hip joint in the direction of the left shoulder and back again. So you'll take a breath, expand the left side of the chest, send the air down to the right side of the belly, then back to the left side of the chest, and vice versa, until you feel the calling to let the air out and take another breath. And if this is really easy for you, you might be able to continue the movement while you're breathing normally. We're all in different places, different stages with this movement. And please pause again, rest on your belly or actually turn onto your back after doing that one diagonal. We've just done an asymmetrical movement, so turn onto your back. Let's see if there's any difference in your contact and the movements of your breath. Just pause and rest on your back. And in your own timing, come again to your belly. Roll over onto your belly side. Again, find a position that works, but if you could spread your legs, spread your arms, so your belly and chest are nice and close to the ground. And let's do the opposite diagonal. So expand your chest as if you were breathing into the right side of your lungs, and then send the air down to the left side of the belly, back to the right side of your chest, left side of your belly. And for some of you, you'll need to pause, take another breath, and start again. For some of you, you can have your breath continuous and in the background. We're all in different stages of coordinating the breath with the movement. So now your whole back will move from your left hip joint in the direction of your right shoulder and back again. You might feel your whole torso oscillating in this diagonal direction. So the right side of your chest, left side of your belly, all around, out to the side under the right armpit, to the left side of your waist. We're doing one half of the chest, one half of the belly, but it's still a three-dimensional shape. So it's in front, it's at the back, and at the side. Let that go and rest again on your belly. Pause. And go ahead and try that movement in the full shape now. So the whole chest and then the whole belly. And see, does the chest touch the ground in a different place? Does the belly touch the ground in a different place? Looking for very small, subtle differences. Please now let that go and roll onto your back. Notice again your contact with the ground or the support coming up from the ground for you now. And the movements of your breath. Is there something somehow more satisfying about your breath? Is it going into new areas? Allow your head to roll a little side to side. If there's any work that's crept into the neck from those movements, allow it to drop away into the earth. Allow the neck to soften. Allow the jaw to soften. And now bend your knees. Place the soles of your feet on your mat. Let your head rest. And check the original seesaw breathing. Expanding the chest all around, sending it down to the belly, back to the chest, going from one to the other, looking for any small differences in this movement. And please now let that go. Lie on your right side, roll over onto your right side, and have your right arm long on the floor with your head resting on your arm, if that's comfortable. If it's not comfortable, you'll use a cushion or a towel under your head and just have your arm in front of you on the floor. Have your knees bent so you have plenty of balance there. So your knees and hips are bent up about 90 degrees, as if you'd been sitting on a chair and someone's just placed you on your side. Bring your left hand up and touch the top of your head, the very crown of your head. And then continue to slide the left hand over the top of your head and hold your right temple or your right ear, the right side of your face. So now the forearm will likely be touching the top of your head, the very crown. So it's not the back of your head, it's not in front of your head, it's right over the top. And once you've got a hold of your right temple or right ear, nice firm hold, raise your elbow towards the ceiling and use your hand to carry your head up. And then let it come back down. So lifting the elbow will lift the head. The elbow gets closer to the ceiling, the head lifts, and then you let it come back down. Notice your right ribs get closer to the ground. Please emphasize the right ribs going into the ground. The more they go into the ground, the easier it'll be to lift your head. So for something to lift easily, something else needs to go into the ground. The next time your elbow and therefore head is lifted like this, stay with them lifted. And again, do these seesaw movements, the seesaw breath, expanding the chest all around and expanding the belly. Notice if there's more expansion on the ribs on the right side or the left side. As always, when you need to rest your head down, please do. Then when you're ready, you can come back to the movement. Notice as you do that movement how your head moves through space. Maybe it moves a little closer to the ceiling when the chest is expanded or when the belly's expanded. Maybe it's closer to the floor when the chest is expanded or the belly. Maybe it moves a little in the forward back plane. Notice how it moves in space. And please let that movement go. Rest on your back. Take a full rest. Notice if any parts of your back have gotten closer to the floor. Or is the ground, is the earth supporting you in a different way? And please now roll over onto your left side. And again, Again, this side may be different. You may need to do something different for your comfort. But if you can, lie with your head on your left arm. Otherwise, use a folded towel under your head or a cushion and have your arm in front of you. Again, bend your knees up. Now please touch the crown of your head with your right hand and continue sliding your right hand over, holding the left ear or left temple, somewhere in that region. Again, the arm is not in front of your head or behind, it's directly over the crown. And when your hand feels secure, again, lift the right elbow closer to the ceiling and allow the hand to carry the head. Is it easier this side? Do the left side of your ribs go more naturally to the ground or more easily? Lifting and then lowering. No need to hold the position at this stage. And please, the next time your head is in the air, your elbow and head are lifted up, stay there and begin to do the seesaw breathing again. Expanding the chest all around, then sending it down to the belly, chest, belly, and the next time you need to take a breath, please do. Look after yourself. Next time when you need to rest your head down, do so, and then come back to the movement. But see, as you do this movement, is it the right side of the ribs that expand more or the left side? And how is your head moving? Is it a little bit closer to the ceiling, closer to the floor? In that plane of movement? Or is it a more forward back? Or is it some combination? And then just focus on the up-down plane. When is your head closer to the ceiling? When the chest is expanded or the belly? When is it closer to the floor? Remember to rest your head when you need to and come back to the movement when you're ready. Notice the forward back plane. If your head is moving in the forward back plane, is it more forward when the chest is expanded or when the belly is expanded? And again, please let that go. Take a full rest. Rest on your back. Again, notice if any parts of you feel closer to the ground or more supported by the earth beneath you. check in with any work that's crept in with your neck. So allow your head to roll a little to one side, back through the middle, to the other side. So side to side. Letting any work that's crept in drop away into the ground, into the earth. Check in with your jaw. If there's any work in your jaw, please let it drop away. Increase the space between your top teeth and your bottom teeth, and encourage your jaw to soften. And let your head rest. Please bend your knees. Place the soles of your feet on your mat, about hip width apart. Interlace your hands and place them behind your head. And again, do this oscillating, gentle oscillating movement of pushing the feet, elongating up. You might feel your head roll in your hands. Pulling with the feet, coming down so your bottom gets a little closer to your heels. And then pushing with your feet, lengthening up through you. Pushing and pulling, alternating these two movements. Notice how your head is moving in your hands. And now just do the pushing movement, just the upwards direction. And bring your elbows towards one another so the elbows face the ceiling. The elbows themselves will probably be about hip width apart as well. So the elbows face the ceiling as you push up through the feet. And as you do that, at the end of the push, is there a congruent or natural place where the elbows could lift and the head gets closer to the ceiling? Just at the end of that movement, see how smooth you could do. Right at the end, lift the elbows towards the ceiling and carry the head. Okay, and then continue that movement, but add in the pulling, the downwards direction as well. Just see if that whole thing, that whole cycle could flow. How smooth could it be? Pulling down with the feet and then pushing up, and right at the end, lift the elbows. Let the head be carried up. And then let the head come down to pull through the feet. Okay, lovely. Let that go. Let your arms be by your side, by your sides. Let your legs go long. Take a full rest. Notice the contact of your two shoulder blades, the contact of the right side of your ribs and the left side. The contact of the right side of your pelvis and the left side of your pelvis. And when you're ready, please bend your knees again. Place the soles of your feet on your mat. And now interlace your hands, what we call the non-habitual way. So to find that, interlace your hands naturally. So just let them come together and interlace them. Have a look and see which thumb is closest to you. And then unlace your hands and move them all along one notch until the other thumb is closer to you. This can feel awkward or unnatural, but even changing this small habit can really bring vitality to the nervous system. So with the non-habitual interlacing, please place your hands behind your head. Bring your elbows towards the ceiling again. So they're pointed towards the ceiling, and again they're about hip width apart. Raise your elbows up so they carry your head. And then let the head down. Let the elbows go out wide. Then bring the elbows to point towards the ceiling. Raise the elbows again, aiming to just carry the head and keep the neck soft. So do that a few times and see how soft your neck can be. Can it give up some of its habitual work? Lovely. And the next time your elbows and head are lifted, please stay there in mid-air and begin doing the seesaw breathing again. Expanding the chest, sending it down to the belly, and vice versa. And see, when you need to breathe, do you need to stop that movement, or can you continue the movement and have the breathing as your background? Just checking how that is. If you need to stop and reset, please do. And again, always rest your head down when you need to, and then come back to this movement. Noticing now the movement of your head through space as you do the movement. Does your head get closer to the ceiling, closer to the floor? Is it closer to the ceiling when the chest is expanded or when the belly is expanded? And then pause. Let your arms be by your side. Keep your knees bent. It's just a pause. And then please come back to the movement, but this time interlace your hands whichever way you like, so whichever is your preference. So place them behind your head, bring your elbows towards the ceiling, lift the elbows, carry the head, stay with your head lifted, and continue to do this seesaw breathing, noticing where your head travels in space. When is it closer to the ground? Does the chin get closer to the chest at some point and further away from the chest at another point? And is that when your chest is expanded or your belly is expanded? Is the chin closer to the chest when the chest is expanded or when the belly is expanded? Lovely, and let the whole thing go, let that movement go. Come to lie on your back with your arms by your side and your legs long. And bring your legs in again closer to one another as if the heels are under the hip joints for standing. So you can point your toes to the ceiling to get that position. And then let them flop out. It's just to get the position. Come to notice the skeletal alignment from your right heel through the leg bones to your right hip joint, and from your right hip joint through the whole side of your right back, and from the right hip joint through the spine all the way up to the head. Notice the skeletal alignment now. How would forces travel up through the leg, through the rest of you? And then notice that on the left side, from the left heel through the leg bones to the left hip joint. What's the skeletal connection? The skeletal alignment. And then from your left hip joint through the left side of your back, and from the left hip joint through the spine all the way to the head. So notice the lines of force now. Are they different to the beginning of the lesson? And when you're ready, roll to your side for a moment, and then continue up in your own time to find yourself on your feet, but just take your time with that. We've been very inward for the last hour, so just take some time to come to standing. When you do find yourself on your feet, check the skeletal alignment now. The force is going up through you. How are your ankles stacked over your feet? How are your hips and pelvis stacked over your legs and feet? How is your torso supported from the ground up? How are your arms and shoulders hanging? Where is your head in relation to your spine? Notice the movements of the breath. Do you still have that three-dimensional breath? The front, the back, the sides. Have you carried it up with your transition to the vertical? So Moshe Feldenkrais explored this seesaw breathing in all different shapes. It's not about them being the right way to breathe by any means. It's about opening up options for us. So please take a walk around the room, around the space. Notice any sensations that are coming up for you. So this seesaw breathing can be interesting, exploring in different shapes. So maybe as you're reaching up to a cupboard, as you're bending down to pick something up, it might strike you as an interesting shape to explore. What's this seesaw breathing like in this shape? And it can give you a sense of internal connection, which is something that's very, very valuable, particularly at this time. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy.